Konnichiwa, I'm David Pujol, writer and director of Waiting for Dali, the movie who is just about to be released in Japan 16th of August, and I will be pleased to share with you our beloved film. The idea of the film came while I was shooting the series of Restaurant El Bulli, 15 episodes. It took us more than 5 years to make that series. That was like 10 years ago. And by one day I was like looking at the road. It's like a road that takes you to the Restaurant El Bulli, and it's with lots of curves. So I could imagine the Cadillac. Dali was always driving with a beautiful Cadillac. In that road, driving to El Bulli, and then I dreamed about what would have happened if Dali would attend the restaurant one day, would sit down and try the dishes of Ferran Adrià. That never happened really, but the idea of having him having dinner there came to me as an idea of what would happen if we would develop some characters that would have a restaurant, and that they would try time after time try to bring Dali to the restaurant in order to bring some publicity to the place. As you all know, Dali was a big name on those days, so everyone wanted to approach him to get something out of him. So that was the main idea. Let's have those guys running a restaurant next to the beach in Cadaqués, trying desperately to bring Dali to the place. And so that idea was the main point of the whole film. So that was the whole start of the film. Waiting for Dali, it's a movie that was born in this area. We are in Cadaqués, and in these surroundings, in these locations, we shoot the movie 2 years ago. Dali's house is just behind from where we are now, and this is the landscape where he was inspired for most of his paintings that he did throughout his life. So this movie was inspired by this place, and also by the cooking of Ferran Adrià and in his restaurant in El Bulli, which is just 5 miles away from here. So the landscape it's almost the same. It means that Ferran Adrià in El Bulli was almost the neighbor of Salvador Dali. So that idea brought to us and came to my mind as a sparkle of an inspiration that brought me an image, and that was that Dali was having lunch, a dinner at El Bulli, our movie. So to mix the world of Ferran Adrià and the world of Salvador Dali. In a way, we develop it as a comedy, as a romantic comedy, but we are having always that surround on the background. So that's basically the main idea of our movie. I would say that for a highlight for the movie would be, and it comes to my mind, those lyrics from John Lennon, and he was saying, "Life is what happens while we're making plans, other plans." In a way, that's what really happens to our characters. While they're struggling to bring Dali to the restaurant, they become excellent chefs because they work hard. So there is that scene in the movie that some critics come and talk about Dali, and not in a good way, and then Jules reveals as a guy that knows with a huge knowledge about Dali's work. So we start to realize that those characters that seem a bit superficial, they are more than that. They have a deep conception of Dali and about the surroundings. So Waiting for Dali, it's about those characters that are dreamers. They dream about having Dali in the restaurant. They struggle to bring him to the restaurant, but in the meantime they become really good chefs in a really good restaurant. That's the main highlight of the movie. So it's about John Lennon's lyrics, right? It's while you're waiting, you better do something to become something. So that's really basically what happens with Waiting for Dali. And I would like to mention something that it's really important for us, that we have a connection with Japan and with Japanese audience, because we had the privilege to interview Mr. Ishida from Mibu restaurant a few years ago, because him and his wife was a big influence for Ferran Adrià and El Bulli and his dishes. And one of the things I learned while I interviewed him was how deep was the connection between nature and his own dishes. He said to us that he was observing the whole seasons, the way the leaves were falling from the trees, the way snow was appearing in winter, the way sun was melting that snow in spring. So all these kind of things, Ferran Adrià adapted to some of his most well-known dishes. There was a big connection. And in my case, I watch several movies from Japanese directors who always have the time to stop for a while and give the right time to a shot. So things happen in there. So Waiting for Dali owns a lot to Japanese culture, and I hope that you can perceive that. So we are delivering you some of our skills regarding to Mediterranean Sea, of our own landscape, of our own culture, but in a way there is a big connection with Japan in the way we done the movie. We made how we say slow cooking in order to become a good dish. So that's the thing I would say. So thank you very, very much. Arigato.